different screen because oops, let me go back to something else. Sorry, real quick. Multiple screens. Okay, awesome. So welcome everybody. This is our monthly County Office of Education, or almost monthly, it's not every month, but County Office of Education, Environmental Literacy Community of Practice. And we're here to share with you information and also get you to have some discussions on topics that might be of interest to you. And we'll get to that point in a moment of you sharing out what you're interested in discussing. And then we will also have, and that's in the first hour, we have an open discussion and dialogue and breakout rooms about topics that might be relevant to you at the moment in your work at your county offices. Some of you may not be working for county offices. We want to acknowledge that some of you are also part of community-based networks and community-based partners. So welcome to this meeting because we are focusing today on community-based partners. So we're glad you're here. You might be able to add to the discussion. So the first hour, as I mentioned, we're going to have some discussion topics that you'll choose. We'll give you a link in the chat in a little bit and a QR code. And then we'll do a little bit of discussion and land acknowledgement and welcome to the meeting, and then have that chat discussion. And then in the second hour, we'll do a deeper dive. Again, some people, like to just come for the conversations and then leave, but we love you to stay in the second hour because our topic today is about community-based partner networks and how county offices and community-based partners are working together in those networks. And if possible, I do hear some background noise, so if you could mute yourself right now so we can get through this next part, and then or if somebody who's a co-host can mute folks, that would be awesome. Thank you. So please, right now, you're going to choose a topic. There are some topics here listed, or if there's a topic that is top of mind for you at the moment in relation to environmental literacy and sustainability or the work that you're doing in your area, please add that to the topic. So this is a chance to guide our breakout rooms today. And we have all these folks in the background that are going to help create these breakout rooms. So if you're not familiar with using a QR code, the easiest way to do that is with your phone, I find, and you use your camera. That's all you do. And then it'll pop up and there'll be a link for you to click and you can pick your topic. Or if you click on the link that was shared in the chat or put that link on your computer to choose a topic. I'll leave this up for just a moment so that you have time to do that, because we've got quite a group here today. We'll probably have several breakout rooms. Excited about. And as mentioned, if you have a topic that may be something you're that's not on the list that you're interested in chatting about, also, you can add that as well. And I'm going to go ahead and move into the next part. Actually, well, I'll wait a minute because we've got some more people coming in. Maybe if you could show me, if you've been able to choose your topic, give me a thumbs up or show me in the, oh, you are awesome and fast. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on then. So welcome to 2024. I'm still wrapping my head around that fact that it's 2024 and that I have a niece that just turned 24. It's really bizarre. So I don't know how you're all feeling about 2024, but it's just an interesting, yeah, and there's lots going on, as we know. So it's a little bit stressful and difficult right now too in time. So I want to acknowledge that as well. And if you have time, that if you need to take a break or go off camera or step away for a little bit, that's fine too. So, but we're all glad we're all here together and working together on this work. So I did not know about this resource. I'm excited. A few of you have know about this resource, but we also want to make sure that we acknowledge our Indigenous partners and our Native Californians that we are, hopefully most of you are working with already or partnering with. And if not, then, look at opportunities for doing that. And I'd like to take a moment to just have you, if you do land acknowledgements or you share them in your meetings, this is a great little frame if you need one to help you with knowing how to talk about your partners, your Indigenous partners. So I'll model it, and then if you have a moment you want to share one in the chat, that would be awesome. So I acknowledge that I'm living on the ancestral homelands of the Muwekma Ohlone Nation, and I recognize that local tribes have been stewards and caretakers of this land since time immemorial. And I'm grateful for them for sharing the resources and being great partners in helping us become better allies to them. So that's a very easy, short way to acknowledge those folks. And then what I also want to share with you is that this group, the Red Bud Resource Group, I hope somebody will share the link for them in the chat. They have this really interesting allyship spectrum, which really helps you be reflective in the work that you're doing and thinking about if you are wanting to partner with one of your local Indigenous groups, how that should go, and to move away from, like obviously you want to move up in the spectrum. You want to move away from just enabling that erasure, not acknowledging them, to impactful action and working in partnership with the Indigenous groups in your area. So as I mentioned, one of our local groups is the Muwekma Ohlone. So we are working with them. We've actually developed land acknowledgements with them, and we also are having them partner with us in any kind of educational aspects of their work, and sharing their work with everybody. So, and we also have worked with the Alma Mutsun, which are more in the Santa Cruz County, which Amity has worked with them, and in our southern part of our county. So just being aware of the different groups that are around and how you work with them is really important. And I also saw that they also, Redbud Resource Group also has resources, lesson resources, if you're wanting to look at what they have to offer. And if you want more information, it looks like, I know Crystal said she's familiar with using this resource. So if you have more questions about it, but again, I just became aware of them and I was like, ooh, this is really great to share. So again, let me go to the next slide. Sorry, oops. Oh, I clicked on there's their website. Pretty good stuff. And it actually has a video on how to use the spectrum, and a little more information. But like I said, they have lessons. They've had teacher trainings and things like that. So really cool to see their work. So, okay. Oh, I keep clicking on that. Sorry. There we go. And so there's a few other resources I wanted to share. Those are linked in the slides. Like I said, some lessons that are there that I looked at that were really great. Because as we all know, some of our history, social science textbooks don't quite have local and really robust lessons that are really focused on our Indigenous partners. So we're working on that too. We have a state law that passed that has us needing to work on that. So, all right. So just want to share our objectives again by sharing our resources. And I'm just going to read this because some people are auditory learners. So by sharing our resources and innovative practices, this community of practice intends to build the capacity of county offices of education to serve as regional backbone support for the following outcomes in each county: supporting access to regular and ongoing environmental and outdoor learning experience for students by working with school districts, teachers, and community-based partners. This work centers on supporting those from the most vulnerable and marginalized communities, supporting development of district-wide plans that include experiences for students at all grade levels with an emphasis on low-income students and students of color, applying frameworks that integrate environmental literacy and sustainability into the curriculum, campus, community, and culture, and infusing sustainability principles and practices into county offices of education core operations. So even though some of you may not be from county offices of ed, you are community-based partners that work with us. And so we're glad that you're here and can help us with the work that we're continuing to do. So thanks for being here. So let's connect a little bit right now. So share in the chat real quick. I know it's hard to pick one, but pick one thing. What are you most looking forward to in 2024? It doesn't have to be related to your work. It could be something fun that you might be doing in 2024. So go ahead and share in the chat. What are you most looking forward to in 2024? And I don't even know. I haven't even figured that out yet. could read a few things. Community-based organization. Oh yeah, that's just a note to you all. Oh, Anthony, that's pretty cool. And a little nerve-wracking too, probably, right? Kid being able to drive to school. Travel, nice. Oh, no way. I didn't know that, Celeste. Grandmother, yay. Travel, hiking, yes. Oh my goodness, so many things. Traveling at better work-life balance. Yes, I think we all need to work on that, don't we? More time in nature, yes. Oh, nice. A partnership with Native Star Foundation and Cal State Universities. That sounds exciting, Gary. Awesome. Kauai. Oh, I've never been there. I need to go. Professional learning, nice expansion. And Japan. Oh my gosh, Gloria, you're gonna have to tell us about that when you get back. Oh my gosh. Okay, you all have wonderful things planned for 2024. Yes, I know, backpacking, camping, outdoors, outreach with Taylor Observatory, Planetarium and STEAM. Nice. So I like how we do have some work-life balance in the chat. Awesome. I still haven't decided what am I doing in 2024. Well, I'm probably most likely going to get another dog. So that'll be exciting. I have to figure out, I don't want a puppy though, probably. It's going to have to be a young dog that's trained anyway, because then I can take them on hikes and stuff. So, all right. So moving along, I think I'm going kind of quick, but it's good. We always like to have more time in the in our breakout rooms too. So I'm going to hand it off to Julie, right? Because you're going to tell us about our breakout rooms.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Hilborn. I'm the Environmental Literacy and Sustainability Coordinator at the San Mateo County Office of Education. Happy New Year. It's so great to see so many people here. We are going to move into our section where we had some different topics that were on the Google form that y'all filled out. And I think Crystal has been our Zoom jockey here with all of those topics. So we can see that the most popular one looks like it was leading environmentally focused professional learning, curriculum integration, expanded learning, and the organizing a community-based partner network, which makes sense since we have that as a special topic today. Youth programs came in 5th, and then it looks like supporting districts is not as popular. So what we will do is we will have breakout rooms. If you go ahead and click on the breakout rooms, then oh, I guess I understood maybe that Crystal was going to create the breakout rooms, but I guess that
the rooms are open, so they
the
will
rooms are
just need
open.
to
Okay.
create
Oh,
their
great.
room. Yep.
Oh, I see them. Okay, great. So the rooms are there on the bottom. If you click on breakout rooms, you will see all the topics, and whichever you feel to join, go ahead and do that. But before you go, we do have a breakout room note catcher, which is in the chat. So make sure that you just select somebody or work collaboratively to fill out that breakout room note catcher so that we can all benefit from the amazing discussions that are about to happen in every breakout room. To the youth programs, who we just heard from, youth programs. So any other breakout rooms would like to share?
Julie, I can share out on the expanded learning group.
Great.
Okay, thanks. So I met with, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Is it Akila? Akila, I met some new friends, Akila, Susan, Gloria, and Sheila. And we focused our conversation largely around, oh, and Beth, sorry, Beth. Yes, Beth joined us. Sorry, Beth. We focused our conversation on what our regions were doing in expanded learning space with and connecting it to environmental literacy. And as you see there on our notes, we talked about some really cool things that are happening to promote environmental literacy, trainings that are connected to SEL, using CREEK funding, expanded learning green sites, and banners that go up at a school, either inside the school or outside the school, to promote some of the really cool things that the schools are doing, which is prompting competition between schools and prompting more competition. And really, some of us are learning, new in our role and are learning, and some of us have been at it for a while, and some of us wear multiple hats. So it was really great just to spend time together, get to know each other and the roles that we all have, and how we leverage our partnerships and what we have going in the community, and to really focus that and bring that alive to our students and teachers. So it was really great to get to meet together this morning. And anybody want to add? It's us. Thank you, Julie.
All right, thanks. And Yamileth, I have to make sure I'm pronouncing your name as well. Is that correct?
It's Yami. You can call me Yami.
Yami. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, any other groups? So that was expanded learning. Thank you.
I could share from the professional learning group.
Thanks, Gloria.
So we discussed how do we connect our teachers within the county on, just what environmental literacy is, and just getting comfortable with the skills that provide the classroom with reaching those needs. And so I shared what we're doing in Laguna Beach Unified with professional learning and during lunch, because lunch is normally more effective for turnout with teachers at least in our region. And teachers normally don't attend after school professional learning as much because of busy schedules or whatnot. And so instead of receiving those professional growth points that cost the district a lot of money, not a lot, but it's something that to think about, we buy them lunch and do a 30-minute 4-part series that's buildable on the environmental literacy skills for the classroom. So the first month of February is just what is environmental literacy. So just this fun conversation over some good food, and they can walk away at least with something to put in their toolkit. And then over the next 3-4 months, they build and connect and collaborate with their peers. So that's one way. And then also sharing out with some great things that's going on in the Bay Area. I connected with Ellen at Berkeley, and she's working with other districts within the county to collaborate on professional learning opportunities. So I just wanted to highlight what Ellen's doing, which is amazing. And I also was able to connect with Douglas at Roots of Success in connecting college and career into environmental literacy, and how can we create a bridge between green careers in the classroom and then also providing strong partnerships within professional learning. So it was a good conversation, and if anyone else wants to add, feel free.
Thank you so much for that. I'm curious about, did you go to a site then and do the 30-minute at the site and buy them lunch at the site? Is that how it worked?
So we're starting that in February. So I'm happy to share some feedback after our first one. So this is only within our district. So I would love to connect with other local districts within the county and hopefully get something that's widespread and, and plan and build it.
It's a great idea. Others? Other groups or anyone from that group? Going once?
I can just quickly share
great.
for the
Thanks,
for
Sandy.
the curriculum integration group. We had a nice range of people in there with different perspectives: county office folks, district, large district LA, expanded learning, and community-based partners. So we kind of had it all, but we were all interested in figuring out how to find the environmental intersection with the curriculum that teachers are teaching, so that these community-based partners coming in are not an add-on, but are actually enriching and making the content more relevant. And also talked a lot about how to have student action and agency be a major part of the curriculum, and that turns what can be such an anxiety producing, learning experience into an empowering learning experience. And then we also heard from both LA, the county, and the district that they're doing data science work that's centering environmental themes and education, specifically using computational thinking in LA Unified as the frame. And we also discussed some about integrated events like STEAM events that can help bring families into the programming, and how that's an opportunity to bring community-based partners in, as well as formal education, the students. So those were kind of the things we touched on. If I missed anything, we just shared a lot of resources with each other too for integration, like what teachers could use, and those are in the note catcher for anyone else to see too.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much, Amity. All right, I think we covered every group. Did we miss anybody, or is there anybody else final thoughts before we move on?
Sorry, I can share a little bit about the community-based partner group. And also just say hi. This is my first time being here. My name is Sarah Barnes. I work for Sierra Nevada Journeys out of Sacramento. And so it was great to be in a group with Mackenzie Weiser from Sac Splash. And I just saw the email that came through this morning with Mackenzie as the cover story, and also this meeting, and was like, this looks really relevant to me, so I'm going to come. Anyway, we had a good conversation, and it was great to have Mackenzie there, because she was there for, I think, similar reasons in that group, just wanting to work on building a network of community-based partners in Sacramento, and having attempted and not had as much success. And it was great to hear from Celeste some of the work that you all are doing to support the network building, because I see that there's a need for that, a need for like, okay, so what, this is not an easy thing. The process matters when you have different organizations that are kind of see each other as competition, just because of the nature of funding and the way that nonprofits work, but have a lot to offer each other, and can ultimately be stronger together. So I'm just re-energized to work with Mackenzie and hopefully gain resources from you all in your work, and the various successful networks in the state too, which Celeste shared some to look into, and hopefully have some more success going forward to work with the other great educational and environmental education providers in the area in Sacramento.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thanks for being here. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And that's true for anybody who's here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, can you just raise your Zoom hand? Trying to look at both screens here. Okay. Well, welcome. We are very glad. And thank you for all the great discussions. We are going to move on now to a reminder, I think, here. So let me just find it. And I'm going to try to share my screen, although I have this new computer and I'm not sure that it's going to work. Can you see it? All good? Oh, yay. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to remind everybody that we do have this survey out. The California Environmental Literacy Initiative is trying to collect data from every single county. And because of my new computer now, I can't see the list of counties. So I'm going to stop talking, and hopefully somebody else, one of the other facilitators in the agenda, you can see the list of counties that we're still trying to get data from. I'm going to say some of them that I remember. So if you happen to be from any of these counties, Trinity, Modoc, and then that's where I lose it. So
Lake,
someone wants
Sierra,
to jump in. Thanks,
yeah.
Crystal.
So we are still hoping for at least a couple responses from Lake County, Modoc, Trinity, Sierra, Sutter, Yuba, San Benito, Madera, and Mariposa. So if you know someone, have a friend there, can send that survey out. We would love to see connections across all of the state for this survey.
To let you know, I'm from Lake County. Yesterday, I sent it to all the admin to forward to the teachers, as well as a large number of teachers I work with through Taylor Observatory. So hopefully you'll
Thank
get some
you,
Lake County
Jennifer.
replies.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. And the deadline has been extended to January 28th, so we still have a couple of weeks. But even if your county has, if we didn't say your name, we still like to have as many responses as possible. So please do share out this survey one more time. Okay, and I think we are now going to just briefly do some gots and needs in the chat. So you can just kind of let us know what you learned from the first hour in terms of gots, and then what you still need. And you can just go ahead and put that in the chat. And then once we have done that, and that helps us plan future Cali meetings. So thank you for your feedback there. And then in optional hour 2, our focus topic is going to be community-based partner networks. And so there will be an introduction, and then there'll be breakout discussion groups by region. And you can also have a custom breakout room if you want to. But let's go ahead and just take a minute. I will stop talking and we'll do some gots and needs in the chat. We're also going to take a break. So that's coming too. So gots and needs.
Yeah, the presentation will be emailed out to everybody who registered after the meeting. You'll get a link to it.
So if you want to go ahead and continue to drop any gots and needs in the chat, and then if you want to take a break, give yourself a minute to stretch and get away from that computer screen. We are going to pick back up at 10:10. 10:10. Thank you for coming today. For those of you who aren't staying for hour 2, and we're excited to have all of your lovely faces on the screen. Toolkit. There is a link in the chat for that, but you'll also, we'll be coming to that as we go along. So you will have time to take a look and to discuss thinking about community-based partners with everyone here. So when we think about community-based partners, one of the things that we think is really important is that these networks help us create more equity. They help more students get outside, more students have access to outdoor education, environmental education, thinking about green careers, and really thinking about all the different versions of what that looks like for students, how local it can get, thinking across the state, thinking across the country, thinking nationally. So we wanted you to just take a moment and share with us, what do you already think about community-based partners and networks? How do you already work with them? What are you thinking about when it comes to those community-based partners? Just drop something in the chat for us so we can kind of take a look at where everyone is. Thanks, Amity, for starting us off. Thanks, Tara. Great question, Mackenzie. All right, so far based on the chat, we have some similarities, I think, in thinking about what CBPs are and how we might connect them together with our COEs and to our schools. Awesome. So we think about CBPs in sort of the broad sense as lots of different types of work that they do. So we have partners who focus on curriculum, who are content experts thinking about the mastery of their space or their work. We think about the idea of school trips, going on field trips, going on virtual programs like the ports trips from Cal State Parks, those residential camps that we love to see students get the opportunity to do. We know that our CBPs provide professional learning for teachers, support for them, but they also are working on funding in a different way than a lot of our COEs or our teachers are doing, thinking about how they can connect to volunteers, how they can support student internships, that kind of work. So here's a wide range of types of organizations that we think about when it comes to CBPs. And what's amazing about these is it really does vary based on where our counties are, which community-based partners and types of community-based partners that we see. We know that as we get, in more rural spaces, sometimes it's harder to have a large variety of CBPs, but that doesn't mean that networking and bringing our partners together isn't important. So we really want to think about how we can help build those relationships and networks with one another. So this takes that huge list and sort of brings us down to think about the fact that we have providers who are really looking at these large spaces. Okay, so thinking about parks, open spaces, in-class programs, but we have supplemental curriculum partners, those extra pieces that we like to add in. We think about expanded learning, and I know we have some of our expanded learning friends here, so how that expanded learning piece comes together. What that means in terms of industry, are we really utilizing our industry partners as community partners? Research, funding, green facilities, and then those youth pieces. And when we take all those and we put them together alongside that list of what community-based partners do, we want you to take a moment and think about, where do your partners live in this space, or which kind of partner are you if you had to identify yourself within this space? How are you doing work with students in the county? What does that look like? Do you have places that you have a lot of success happening? Do you have places that maybe you have some gaps when you look at these lists of what we have happening? So I'll be quiet for a moment and just give you a moment to think. And then as you're thinking about that and thinking about where you already are, you might be thinking, gosh, I'm already part of a network. We already have some networks within our area, or I've heard of one, but I haven't quite figured out how to connect to it. So here are some examples of CBP networks that we already have, and these are listed in that toolkit. You'll get to see them there. And we want you to have a chance to explore that toolkit. So if you want to take a look at the link that is now way up, let's see if I can find it again in the chat. I love how active you all are being in the chat together. If you get a chance to take a look at that toolkit, take a few minutes and say, for yourself, and just sort of get situated with it. What are the parts? What are you noticing? And then we'll chat about those different sections in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to be quiet and let you take a moment and sort of explore that toolkit, take a look at what is in it. And thank you, Amity, for dropping that link back in the chat. So in your quick skim, if there's anything that you've noticed that is like, oh, I definitely want to dive into that section, or I think that this section would be particularly useful, if you want to drop that in the chat or share with us out loud. Is there any place that you're feeling like, gosh, that would be particularly helpful? I know my favorite section is the suggested network activities. Whenever I'm feeling a lack of inspiration for what we should do, I like to go to that list and say, what haven't I done on this list yet that we could try in our network? Okay, we're feeling shy in the second hour. I'm entertained by that.
I
Guys.
think people just get like sucked into reading the toolkit. I know I do, and and I'm very familiar with it, but I'm always seeing things where I'm like, oh, I should be doing more of that
Oh
still.
yeah.
Yeah, all the reminders about how to in the building, maintaining a strong network are good ones for me, because can always improve the practices. So those findings from the field about building community are one of my favorite sections.
Nice. Thanks, Amity. And thanks, Mackenzie and Sylvia in the chat. That's awesome. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to direct you towards the end of the toolkit. So on page 27, there's the beginning of a see, I can just show you. There we go. There's a beginning of a self-assessment. And we want you to take a moment and think about, where are you in this? Are you not started? Which is totally fine and great. Are you in a space where you're at the beginning of a network, either as a member of a network or as organizing one? Are you in a developing stage, or is your network in a high functioning stage? So we want you to take a moment to think about that self-assessment that starts on page 27. Take a look at where you are. And we're asking you to do this because we're actually going to send you into breakout rooms with or based on where you put yourself. So our first round of breakout rooms in this second hour together is going to be based on where you are, where you self-assess. You have a chance to have some common conversation about what you're doing with your networks and what you want to try on. So if you can take a couple minutes and do that, we would super appreciate it. And again, I will be quiet while you self-assess, and that starts on page 27. As you're assessing yourself, you might be thinking, gosh, I'm a COE that helps organize a network, or my network runs parallel to the COE. We just connect with each other. I'm a community-based partner looking for my network. And so it's okay for you to assess based on whatever version of these networks that you are. Not every network is run by a COE, and not every network is totally inclusive yet of all the community-based partners within their area. And so trying to figure out how to get all that to happen or connected is going to be a big piece of thinking about where you are in your implementation. Sorry about that. Okay. So you have hopefully done some self-assessment and have some thinking about what you might want to do or talk about. We're going to send you to breakout rooms, or you'll have a chance to self-select into the breakout room that best fits where you assign yourself in your self-assessment. There are some questions to think about here. I'm hoping somebody will drop them in the chat for us, but thinking about where are you in developing your network? What are those questions or challenges that you've run into? Maybe what the successes are that you've had, what's working for you. In the work that you're doing with your CBPs that's in a network, but maybe is not in a network, that's maybe supporting their work. So trying to sort of vaguely see, like, how do I get my CBPs to come together and work with districts and schools in sort of a coordinated way? So that's what you're thinking about. So we have actually 5 rooms when you see those breakout rooms open. 4 of them match these implementation stages. I'll go back to those. So we actually have one more in there called Choose Your Own Adventure. So if you are feeling like none of those implementation stages match you, you can feel free to pop into that Choose Your Own Adventure room and see what adventure you all choose together to have a chat about. We'll give you about 20 minutes when you get in there to chat, and then we'll have you come back and share with us as a whole. So those rooms are open. Please feel free to choose. If you need help, let us know. That with your community-based partner networks. And thanks, Amy. Yeah, we got to have Sean in our group, so we got to talk about the partner portal in our developing work. It's a great place for our schools and for our partners to see one another. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, we really should have had a bigger emphasis on the partner portal in this whole session. So everybody should definitely make sure they take a look at that. And then I shared in my breakout room, we were in the high functioning, but also all of us were like, oh, well, we're still developing too, you know, it's a messy process. But there's some resources I'm excited about that I'm not sure if, I don't think all the groups get them when you put things in the chat when you're in the breakout rooms. So I'll put them in here again, but San Mateo County Office of Ed worked with their community-based partner network to create a system to gather data on what schools they're serving across their region and have that data be easily accessible for people to see. And that's something my region is very interested in, being able to. We've gathered that data in the past, and it's time to do it again. So I'm excited that San Mateo shared their resources of how they did it, and there's even a video introduction to those resources that's there in the chat that Andra Yagoyan put together. explaining that project, that you can see the website where it's a public website. You can see their progress toward their goal of trying to have every student in every grade get an outdoor ed experience in every school in their county.
Thanks, Amity. And Amy, I think Sean had to pop off for another meeting, so he's not here to drop that in the chat. And thanks, Amity, for putting these links in. That's awesome.
I was just curious, I was in the developing room, and for those in the high functioning room, just curious, any sort of words of wisdom you want to share, you know, what have you found to be the most effective, or what's, you know, are participants most responsive to? Anything that's, you know, comes to mind of in terms of holding the network together, keeping everybody active? Are there any secret to help?
Well, as someone who worked on the toolkit, I think we saw the same things come up again and again in the high functioning networks. And it was really, you know, having really strong community building. So people build a sense of trust across organizations and really are true collaborators. And then from that, using every opportunity you can to have shared leadership in terms of goal setting and planning, and developing working groups and ways to share the leadership, so it's not relying heavily on you know, just a couple people.
Yeah.
And everybody feels invested. So revisiting your goals often, so that people do feel like they can see that it's more than just networking, that they're making progress towards shared goals that are important to everyone that's a part of it. And having the relationships there for people to really feel like they're valued, whatever they bring, because we have groups that are all different levels of resources, and so it's really important that everybody feels valued no matter what their organization looks like. And that relationship building helps with that, because everyone's bringing a perspective that's important to understanding the whole picture. But that's what off the top of my head.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. That makes sense.
And knowing that it's going to ebb and flow too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's going to weaken and then get stronger again, but you weather it if you've got that organizational buy-in.
Thanks for sharing that.
All right, so we are just about at the end here. Definitely fun events, Amy. Fun events with the options for snacks tends to be super helpful, just like with our teachers. So we do have a reminder here about the partner portal, and for COEs, you can get a microsite that's specific to your county office. And actually, Sean and I were having a chat in our room that I'm going to add San Diego's Environmental Educator Leaders Network onto my main page for my microsite, because then we'll be mashed up together, our COE and our community-based partner network, visibly on the partner portal, which will be really exciting to have there. Do remember that we have one of these a month, and really this chance and this format around everybody having a chance to work together to think about what topics are important to you and what you are currently in the need of wanting to discuss for challenges and successes. Is our system. You do need to register for each of these separately, so you should have that. And when Amy sends you the review for today's session, you'll see the link again for next month and the months after that. So that you can see what we're talking about. Next month is a professional learning session where we sort of flip the time. In the first hour, we're going to deep dive into some professional learning, thinking about integration across the curriculum. So especially those of you who might work in elementary, it's a great way to think about how can you use environmental literacy as a linchpin to bring your subjects together that you're helping to support teachers with. And then our second hour will be a network and teen time dive for people to select into breakout rooms and have some chats. So you can see that that's there. We thank you, all of us that are from the Cali COE Hub. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate getting to hear from you and what you need, because that helps us make sure that we are doing the work for the state that supports all of you to keep growing and find our environmental literacy champions in every county in the region. So go forth and have an amazing day. Please reach out if you need anything from us, and we are really glad to have seen you this morning.